Major global economies are pushing for a price on carbon emissions. The aim would be to encourage countries to transition into green economies. And the idea is simple. Those who produce more emissions should pay more. But there are fears that a blanket implementation of the tax, especially in Africa, could lead to a rise in the price of carbon-emitting goods.
On the carbon tax specifically, we are not of the view that this is a fair way to finance climate action, because automatically we believe that a carbon tax on transportation of goods and services will affect everyone unequally. We foresee that this is going to have an impact on the price of goods and services in Africa.
Global plastic pollution experts, on the other hand, say a carbon tax in Africa may not be feasible due to business interests.
I think there are petrochemical economic interests, fossil fuel economic interests at play, trying to stop the world for coming up with policies that would regulate plastic pollution.
Some experts in Africa are of the view that the specific design and structure of the carbon tax should be tailored to the unique circumstances and developmental needs of each country in Africa.
I think the conversation should be channeled towards a negotiation path where African leaders, especially those from the Horn of Africa, should come up with a structure or a pathway on how that tax could be used to offset the existing African debt.
But also of concern in Africa is the fact the carbon tax would not target emissions like methane. Many argue fighting global warming involves more than just putting all nations on the road to net zero carbon emissions. They say African nations require other means to provide electricity to their people if fossil fuels are to be given up. While those who support a carbon tax may have good intentions, to many people in Africa, the situation is clearly a little more complicated than it seems. Daniel Arab Moi, CGTN, Nairobi, Kenya.